Hello and welcome to the program. My name is Emmanuel Kodia. There is a notice. Well, as part of the 2024 general elections, which will be held on December 7th, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Madam Jane Mensa, is introducing a new development, including the Ghana card or the ECOWAS identity card that will solely be the accredited card to allow people to vote. While the House minority has criticized this idea and may reject it. Let's have a listen.
Mr. Speaker, with the NIA assurance that it will commence its card issuance in a matter of weeks, we encourage those who do not have the card to begin the process of acquiring the card to enable them register as voters. The NIA has its registration centers across the districts and the regional capitals, and therefore accessing their facilities will not be a challenge. Additionally, since the card is acquired at the age of 15, we encourage any Ghanaian who will turn 18 in 2023 and 2024 and who is interested in voting in the country's election to visit the nearest NIA registration center and register for the Ghana card to enable him or her also register as a voter when he or she becomes eligible. It is important to note that all those who registered in 2020 are not part of this registration exercise because all their details, including their biometric features, are intact.
Well, the youth make close to 40% of the country's population. Joining me to discuss the impact of this constitutional instrument is J. Sebe, the Communications Director of TESCON for KNUST Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. And for those of you watching who may not know the meaning of TESCON, TESCON is the Tertiary Students' Confederacy of the NPP, the New Patriotic Party, a wing of the New Patriotic Party in tertiary institutions. Thank you very much for your time.
How do you see this EC's initiative, making the Ghana card a sole identification card to allow people to vote? How do you see it affecting our electoral process?
Okay, thank you. So, firstly, the EC is actually the sole body that has mandate to make laws governing electoral process, and it is only the EC who can actually make laws concerning elections in Ghana, and with that, no other. I don't think there's any other issue that can actually go against what or the laws the EC is. So I actually go with what the new CI or with the new laws the EC is bringing out to make Ghana card the sole card for voting government in 2024.
So the Electoral Commission Chairperson, Madam
Jane Mensa,
said this initiative, this new constitutional instrument regarding our electoral process is going to prevent minors and those who are not Ghanaians from entering our electoral register. Do you think, that is really going to impact our election by making it free and fair?
Going to impact our election because we are going to compile a new register using the Ghana card as the means of voting or as a means of getting your name registered to vote. Because the Ghana card is actually new in the system, and I don't think right now there are people or there are fraudsters making Ghana cards or making fake Ghana cards in Ghana. So I think with this a new CI is going to make the elections free and fair. It will actually avoid fraudsters who actually make duplicates of people's Ghana cards come and vote twice, who make duplicates of people's Ghana cards come and vote for them to register people's names. So like those people won't have that chance to do all these things during the 2024 election if the Ghana card or if the CI is approved by Parliament. So yes, going forward, I think it will be free and fair because it will help reduce the process in our electoral process. That is, those names will be moved from the new voters register, and there will be no chance to make duplicate cards of someone's card to come and vote for the person or to actually come in place for the to vote for the person.
All right, so as you were speaking, you said it will make this election free and fair. You are seen with the EC in this regard. I just want to read something to you. In the 2016 election, Akufo-Addo won 5,773,400 299, representing 53.6%. And the NDC, John Mahama, the incoming administration, also won 4,800,737, representing 44.6%. So making it free and fair. Now, before, we were using the voter's ID card. So do you agree that, the elections that Akufo-Addo won in 2016 and in 2020, it was fraud? Because we are using the voter's ID card. And if you are saying now the Ghana card is going to make it free and fair, so before we were using the voter's ID card. So do you agree that, or would you say, or do you even think, do you have thoughts that Akufo-Addo would have won a fraudulent election? Or it was fair in those days?
Okay. So first of all, I don't agree with what you are saying that Akufo-Addo and the government won the elections with a fraud voters register or something, because it's only the AEC who actually knows what is best for our electoral process, and with that, they are actually an independent body that is set up by the constitution, and no one can challenge whatever the decisions they make. And they know what it means for Ghanaians. So I don't think the 2020 elections was won by any means of fraud or something. But if we say it was won by means of fraud, I will actually sideline with it, because with the old voters register, you will see it had some ghost names, and people actually had chances to even vote twice. So I think going forward, compiling a new register will help us get rid of these ghost names, these people, foreigners registering to come and vote, and sidelining or all those who actually vote twice or who came to vote twice in the 2020 election.
Okay, so you are the communications director for TESCON in KNUST, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology.
Yes, please.
Okay, so what are the students also saying? You are heading the students in the KNUST, in the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. What are they also saying? Is there any concerns raised by the youth, raised by the students in school? Do they even agree with this new constitutional instrument by the EC?
Okay, so per what I have and per what I know, 90% of the students are happy about this new law regarding our elections, since it will actually do away with fraud that's actually associated with electoral processes. So yes, to me, I think we are all happy about this new CI coming into power to do away with the voters' ID and use the Ghana card as a new way to vote, because it will help us fish out foreigners who actually got registered during the 2020 election, and it will help us fish out voters who actually had their names 2 times in a voters register to come and vote 2 times. And with this Ghana card, it has the particulars of an individual. So regardless, you can't register twice, or you can't have 2 Ghana cards, because your name goes to the system, and you can't go again for your name to be reinstated into the system. You get it? So going forward, I think using the Ghana card is going to help us a lot, and yes, it will actually prevent people from doing all kind of election frauds.
Right. So 90% of the students agree with this. Is it including the opposition party members also in the university?
But that's, yes, I will also say they are also part of the 95% students who are happy with the new CI. Sorry.
So let's talk about the fate of our elections. With this Ghana card issue, this controversy surrounding the Ghana card, using it to vote, we are talking about the fate of our election. Do you think, in case in the next election, or the elections in the future, there will be a change in the government where the opposition party or any other party would take over from the incoming administration? Let's say the NDC would take over from the NPP. Do you think that government or that administration is going to continue or back the use of the Ghana card in our elections?
Okay, thank you very much. So first of all, when I said the Electoral Commission is an independent body that is set up by the Constitution, and as an independent body, no one can actually decide, no one can actually have an influence in what decision they make. So going forward, if even if there is a change of there's a change of party, I don't think when that party comes into power, that party can challenge the new CI regardless. Because if you want to challenge this CI, unless you send the challenge to the court, the Supreme Court, that is the highest court in Ghana, unless you send a case there for the Supreme Court to take off over everything. But when it comes to when there's a change in Ghana, I don't think any party that comes to power will actually be able to change or reverse the CI to stop using the Ghana card for voting or stop using the Ghana card as the voters register.
Okay. This initiative, this campaign for bringing or making sure the election is fair using the Ghana card was first started by the former minority leader Haruna Idrisu, and now the minority leader who has replaced Haruna Idrisu, Dr. Kesalato Forsen, is also adding his voice to this campaign. Do you feel or do you think the NDC is having thoughts of the EC rigging the election?
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, they actually made an initiative to actually move in Parliament to halt the whole process or to stop the new CI that is being passed by the Electoral Commission. And for that, I don't know what to say about it. I don't know what to say about it because Ghanaians actually want this thing to happen, or they want us to change the voters ID to using the Ghana card as a voters ID to vote. So they're halting the process at Parliament. It's actually a whole different case. No one knows the reason behind it. No one knows why they want to do that. But to me, I don't see anything wrong with using the Ghana card as the new voters ID to vote in the 2024 election.
So you don't think the NDC is having thoughts of the EC rigging the election? They just want it to be fair.
Yes, they just want to take it fair.
All right. So the card is not made available to all Ghanaians. I mean, those turning 18 this year and even the next year. What do you make about that?
So the Ghana card is not actually something that will actually take a long process to acquire Ghana card. And for me, I know it can be done it can be done every year by issuing new Ghana cards to fresh Ghanaians, or I would say those who have actually turned 18. Because every time you can just walk to when the new CI actually comes into power, you can just walk to the 18th office with a Ghana card to acquire the voters ID. And I think with the Ghana card, it's not a big issue acquiring this Ghana card because it is made. It can be made continuously, or it can be made anytime you want to. If you want to make your Ghana card, if you don't have one right now, and you want to get a Ghana card for yourself, you can just get the document ready, go to the office of the National Identity Authority, get your name registered to get a Ghana card. And I don't think it's just a long process, so it's easy to acquire. And I think when it gets there, all those who have 10-18 will actually get their cards being done or will receive their card before elections.
Okay. So in the 2016 election, the students in KNUST or even Ghanaians voted massively for the opposition NPP at the time. And in 2020, the vote, or let's say the margin that Akufo-Addo, the NPP, gave the NDC in 2016, in 2020, it dwindled, it reduced. In 2024, you as a student, heading the students in KNUST, in 2024, do you think that Akufo-Addo or the NPP, Akufo-Addo wouldn't run at that time, do you think the NPP can still maintain power?
Can you speak a bit? Like I can't really hear you that well.
Okay, so I'm saying in 2016, Akufo-Addo won the election a landslide, and in 2020 it dwindled, it reduced. In the next election, 2024, do you feel or do you think the NPP is still going to maintain power? Looking at what is happening in this country, the youth, some of the youth very devastated, not finding jobs to do, not even getting things to do or find their hands on that will earn them something. Do you think the NPP is still going to maintain power? From your perspective, you are heading the students in KNUST. From your perspective, in school, do you think the students?
No matter whatever happens, wherever I go, whatever happens in the country, the MPP is still going to win power in 2024, coming 2024 elections, and it's being done and dusted because looking at the economy, people are complaining that we are facing hardship. There are a lot of things going on in the economy, but they should look at two things that is actually making the economy face these challenges. We always talk about the Russian-Ukraine war. People always say this thing. We always talk about COVID-19. They always say this thing, but deep down, these two things have actually affected the economy so badly that it will take some time for the NPP government to get back on track to recover the losses that has actually hit Ghana within these 2 years. Yeah, so going forward, I think it's only the NPP that can solve this problem, and the NDC is no other option to win 2024 because they have nothing for Ghanaians. They have no solutions to solve the economy. But looking at the NPP government, I think for when we started this year, there have been a lot of changes in the economy. The economy is actually shooting up. World price is actually going down. The price of dollars is actually reducing, and a whole lot of stuff. So I think it's only the NPP government that can actually solve the economy, not the NDC.
It's only the NPP government that can solve the problem we have in this country. We are just facing the problem in this nation, but we are not seeing any solutions. We are still not seeing anything. But if you keep saying the NPP is,
When you say you're not seeing anything, I don't actually side with you because starting of the year, fuel price has been reducing like every month, and that is the change of that is actually
yeah,
an
that's it.
improvement in the
That's it. But that is the bad. Taking the youth for instance, majority of the youth are not getting jobs to do. We have the one district, one factory project. The youth are still not getting jobs to do. We have the one district, one factory project. Still, people are not getting jobs to do. And you are saying the NPP can still solve the problem, but even with this problem, we are not seeing any solutions to it. So going forward, how do we even believe that if we entrust this nation to you again, we are going to solve the problem? Because the Russian-Ukraine war, yes, it has happened, but it happened some years ago. Some countries are picking up. The coronavirus happened. Some countries are picking up. Why are we still facing these kind of problems in our nation? Bondholders, a whole lot of things happening in this country, and still you're saying the country, it's only the NPP that is going to solve this problem.
Thank you. So I would like to say something that we were never prepared for all these things. Ghana itself as a country was never prepared for all these challenges or something. So first of all, I would say that COVID, we were not expecting it that time, or we're not expecting that damage is actually caused Ghanaians. We were not prepared. We had no facilities. We had no funds for I would say pushing in the economy or raising the economy to that standard. And we went on a lockdown for 2 weeks, and it actually affected the country a lot. People were laid out of their work. A lot of things happened. And also the Russian-Ukraine war, it actually brought about the increase in fuel price because Russia is one of the leading producers in crude oil. That is, well, let me say fuel. Okay, so like a lot of countries actually stopped the import or let me say the import of crude oil from Russia because they were actually not adhering to the states of other countries to actually stop the war. They were still doing so. So like a lot of countries actually cut their relationship with Russia concerning war. So like war was on a high demand on the world market. That was how it actually affected the country. So going forward, as I said earlier on, it is only the NPP government that can solve everything. And looking at what we have done since COVID, what we have done since the Russian-Ukraine war, I would say right now the economy is actually recovering small, small. That's what I would say. And leaving only the economy, like 2024 elections, it's only the NPP government that can actually get things being done, or that can actually recover things.
Okay. All right. So we would like to end here. Thank you very much for your time, and I'm certainly hoping that what you said will come to pass. So everything in the country is moving faster, moving good and better. The youths, being impacted positively. So thank you very much for your time, J7. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your time too. So right now, I'll just urge Ghanaians to be patient, have faith in the NPP government, and as I said earlier on, it is only the NPP government that can actually bring the change, or that can actually arise the economy back. And then they don't have the men, they don't have power, they don't have anything to bring this economy back to life or something. So I would say the government is doing it. The government is doing it. We are seeing the reduction of war every month. We are seeing um, the good for oil being done, and it's actually saving Ghana a whole amount of money by the exchange of good for crude oil. So as I said earlier on, and I will stick to whatever I'm saying right now, that it is the NPP government that can only fix this problem right now, and not the NDC.
Okay. All right. So thank you. I really appreciate that, adding a comment to it. Thank you.